I'm Robbie English, and I'm so happy to have Carrie Sietsema and Nelson Chang with me in the house. We're with Uncommon Realty in Austin, Texas, and we are here rocking on this Monday.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yes, happy Monday, everybody.
And happy Valentine's Day. I love
Yeah.
it.
That's right. Single Awareness Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I've got to do something different. So, what do y'all think about the topic today?
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Yeah.
I was one of those Californians that are bombarding Texas with residents here.
Wow.
That happened 16 years ago, but I still feel the hatred today.
Oh, well, you know,
Oh no.
that's pretty terrible. Well, I kind of wore my camo just to kind of protect Texas there, you know.
Carrie, what do you think about them Californians moving to Austin, Texas in
You
general?
know what? I think it's awesome that other people that are not from Austin appreciate our city as much as we do. So I say, welcome. Come on down.
But don't change anything.
Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of stuff wants to change, you know.
It does. That's the frustrating thing, right?
The way I like to say it is leave your shit at the door.
At the state line.
There you go. That works too.
So, how many people have moved here? I mean, let's just kind of get into this. Let's talk about California specific. I mean, are we looking at just a few hundred? Are they all coming to us? Well, what do you think?
We're looking at a lot. So since 2010, 687,000 people have moved from California to Texas.
That's not a little number to be dismissed.
It's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. Can we send them back?
Can we send them back? Just don't send me.
I just got to say it. The ones that get in the far left lane and drive below the speed limit in their Prius or other vehicle, those are the only ones. You have to earn that badge in Texas to be able to drive in the left lane. It's our thing. It's like you get on the toll road, it's 85 and you're going 70.
Yeah.
Get over.
We touched briefly about it last week. I mean, there's some parts in Texas that don't even have, a speed limit where you can go at your own risk. Just be careful. But like Robbie said, if you can't stay in that left lane and, hold your ground, move to the right.
No, it's so honk. I try not to be one of those, drivers that are just like, but it always seems to be the front end of my car like attracts the rear end of a Prius just standing right there in front of me going down the road. And I'm like, come on, get those Flintstone feet going. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
So 687,000 people have moved here from California.
Yeah, that's a lot.
In the last 12 years.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it's probably going to continue to happen. I mean, just as much people, maybe more. Who knows? I mean, every day someone's, being born. So we have the possibility that Texas might be just reaching the same number of Californians, right? I mean, you never know. It could happen today. It could happen 5-10 years from now.
I mean, in Austin, it's hard to find a true Austinite who was born here.
Yeah. We call them unicorns, right?
Yeah, we have a unicorn with us. Miss Carrie is a unicorn.
Hey.
Yay.
Yeah. What?
So percentage-wise, that 687 is what percent make up California new Texans?
That ends up being about 13% of the new Texas residents are from California.
So let's call those Cal Texans. So 13%
Cal Texans. Yeah,
not Cal Texans, just Cal Texans. But we don't want to offend anybody. But that's a pretty significant number. That's being here. Why?
I mean, you can get more bang for your buck here in Texas. I believe you can find something that will accommodate your needs here in Texas, whether it's in Austin, whether it's in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, wherever. You can find what you're looking for, especially if you're coming from a popular city like Los Angeles, the Bay, whatever it may be. I remember at one point during the pandemic when the interest rates were low, 1 month there was around 73% of the actual closings in Austin were bought through a Californian. it's a high number of Californians moving here, and they want to have a piece of the land, and they want a piece of Texas.
Yeah, and Nelson made an important point earlier, right before we were about to go live, that a lot of those Californians aren't all moving here just to buy property here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an important distinction that I thought we needed to kind of really make there. But we kind of identified some of those top 5 differences that people are going to have when they move from California to Texas, and kind of want to jump into some of those. And we got big topics, but we have a lot of conversation around them all, which is the good thing about us. So the number one thing that we wanted to talk about were the tax differences, and wanted to hear from both sides. What are y'all thinking? What's the big California to Texas taxation differences?
Carrie, you want to take this one?
The biggest one that I see is that Texas does not have a state income tax.
True.
Which is very appealing to a lot of people who are coming here.
But
there's a trade-off.
I mean,
there is a trade-off. Property taxes here are what is the I wish I would know before I moved to Texas kind of thing. Get yourself a realtor who is educated and knows these facts, but not just from Texas, but also from where you're coming from, because this can sneak up on you, and it can sneak up on you pretty quickly.
How do you think a Californian will assimilate to Texas with that? I mean, if they have a state income tax that's based off of their income, maybe their income isn't growing as fast as maybe their property value. So their property value is jumping up, and their income's still kind of low. So do you think that everybody is prepared for that?
It's the hard truth. I mean, not everyone would be prepared for that. I mean, it's inevitable. It happens day to day. That's life.
But the brilliant thing is what? They get to live with us, work with us, drive in the far right lane with us.
Yeah.
Texas is, and one thing I would I like to get around and point across is, if you are coming from California here to Texas, as fact, because this is what happened to us, is we were looking for a new build. This is something we did not have in California. I grew up at a resale home, and you kind of want what you don't have growing up in life. That's general. You want what you can't have. Right. And coming here, there are many opportunities for new builds. And one thing that I would state out there is to make sure, if you want to buy, that you have yourself a good agent that can be there with you throughout the process. Because if you may still be in California doing what you need to do over there, you need to have someone reliable that you can trust here in Texas to take the wheel for you.
The boots on the ground, because that new construction isn't just showing up at the builder's rep office and then seeing you back in 8 months when it's done. It's a continuing ongoing process. But if we come back to those property taxes, do we have any averages that we can share with our viewers about what's the upside and the downside here? I mean, is it better in Texas or worse in Texas?
So absolutely. It looks like the state average in California for property taxes is 0.74%. So less than 1% on average in California. The state average in Texas is 1.81%.
Which is a low number if you're moving to Austin. Don't marry yourself to that number, because we
Correct.
a little bit.
Let's be real.
The state average. That's a really important difference. That's the state average for all of Texas.
All of Texas.
Austin's average is going to be probably a little bit higher.
Yeah, a lot higher.
Right.
We'll tell you before you come.
Go for it, Robbie.
There's a lot of cities that depend on that tax value and those tax money to run the cities and everything, and because we don't have that state income tax, it's good and it's bad, and it just kind of depends. I mean, if you're going to move here and make some bank working here and rent an apartment, then you're okay. You've escaped the property taxes. Our rents may be a little bit different, but no, I don't think so. Not too much. California's pretty expensive. But at the same time, when you come and you offset the income version with the property tax, you can buy that huge house, here. I mean, what is it? A $1.3 million house there is probably of what, $3 million here? No, I don't know. But there's a big difference in the price points.
There is,
and a lot of those tax differences and in employment and income and everything also jumps in to cause a little bit of Texans to have culture shock. Those, we have them for the Californians moving in, but the Californians have some Texas culture shock, right? This is called camo, right?
There's just a huge difference between the California weather and the Texas weather. It's just one of the things that caught me by surprise. I mean, it is, California has everything. You want snow, you can go to snow. You want desert heat, you can go to desert heat. You want fresh, cool air, you can find fresh, cool air. It's just, it can't be beat over there. I mean, you got everything when it comes to weather out there.
Now we got beaches.
Yo,
we got snow.
We
got a heck of a lot of hot.
A lot of hot.
And it may take you hours and hours to get to it, but we got it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was a little bit of a shock the first time I saw our beaches. I'm coming from California, and I see those beautiful beaches with waves, just lots of people crowded. And
we just don't wear white bathing suits.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Right.
Makes sense. I mean, we don't show off our tans that well, but at least the bathing suits stay clean.
Carrie, have you said you visited California before, right? Or no?
I have, yes. Southern California mostly.
How would you say the weather for you, being a Texan, an Austinite, compares when you visit? How do you like it? Do you dread it? Is it?
I mean, the weather in Southern California is just amazing. I mean, it's like 60, 70 degrees year round. You know what to expect when you leave the house in the morning, whereas in Texas, you kind of have to be ready for snow, rain, sleet, whatever's going to happen during the day.
That's true.
So yeah, the weather's definitely feels like it's a lot more volatile here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
changes more quickly.
But you being born here, sorry, do you think you can handle it a lot better if someone from California was to come here? I always I put this analogy: if I was born here, I would have been able to probably handle the heat a lot better.
Oh yeah. Because I'm used to it. Like, I'm used to it being, 100 degrees for days on end. Like, yeah, you get acclimated to it.
Good, yeah.
No doubt.
It's one thing I do miss.
San Diego isn't awesome.
Oh yeah, San Diego. No doubt about that. You can sleep with your windows open. Let that fresh, cool air come in.
Right.
You don't have to worry about air conditioning. You can't do that here in Texas. You'll suffocate.
No.
Or mosquitoes.
That is true.
Yeah.
There is one thing that Texas, to me, that was kind of alarming when I was growing up, or just earthquakes or something scary. You never know at what time, day it can come, and it's damaging. People die, and that's a serious thing. And the one I lived through was the 94 earthquake, where I remember I was fighting a cold with my younger brother, and my older brother was passed out just from sleep, and my parents are scattering around to pick us up, put us outside, because that's the thing you do. If you're awake, you can get yourself under a table, under a support beam, or a door frame, cover your neck, get down. But when you're asleep, you never know. It's a silent killer. Anything can topple down from you. You probably won't wake up if you get hit in the wrong spot. So it is very scary. And that's one thing here in Texas I have not witnessed, at least in Austin. And I am quite thankful of that.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
that's a good point. We do not have earthquakes for the most part here.
Yeah. We just have that horrible wind thing that goes.
Yeah, tornadoes.
Yeah, but depends on where in Texas you're at, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember when I moved to Austin, I was told that the last tornado that came even close to Austin was 20 years before, and that was in 2006 when I moved here. So who knows, where the tornadoes would ever come. Have you ever seen one, Carrie?
I have never seen a tornado. I've been through a lot of tornado warnings, especially living out in the hill country. The thing about tornadoes is you don't commonly get them like right around in the city, because all the structures and the buildings aren't a very good, place for tornadoes to form. But out in the hill country and, the plains around Austin, you can certainly get them a lot. And so I remember a lot of tornado warnings from, when I was a kid. And you would all go and jump in the bathtub and pile pillows and mattresses on top and just kind of wait it out.
I remember the tornado warnings and the hail.
Yeah, that's right.
The hail is not my friend.
It's not the worst friend either. It's brutal if you leave your car out, happen to be driving during hail. Oy.
Yeah. That's another reason that a garage is a really good feature to have on a house here in Texas.
Definitely worth it. It is worth the investment, in my opinion, because that car is not investing you any money. It is depreciating.
Right.
And not having cover is scary.
Now we talk it a little different too.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't we? Yeah. I kind of have this messed up accent that's not really all Texas, but we talk a little bit different. There's a little bit, we have, I can think we kind of coined y'all, and there's differences as far as drinks. Carrie pointed out earlier, there's a difference between, they may say soda and we say Coke.
Yeah,
you want a Coke?
It's Coke. Yeah.
I remember I did not want to say y'all for the longest time. I think my streak was 7 years before I first said y'all.
Wow.
Until then, it was always you guys. That's the thing we say in California. It's just, you guys want to come do this, or it doesn't matter. We're not trying to be, it's just, that's terminology. And we say dude a lot. And that's how I was until 7 years came around. I was like, all right, y'all is a lot easier.
It is a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it rolls off the tongue a little bit better. It feels.
It does. It's really easy to say, "Hey, y'all. Thanks, y'all."
Exactly. One thing I do remember hearing a lot was darling.
Hey, darling. Yeah.
Hey, darling. Yeah. That's a good point.
The gestures here are kind of warm and welcoming. I remember visiting where we were going to buy our new building. The first thing I get is a tip from the hat, and you don't see that in California. Not all places, at least from where I was. No, that could be, there are all sorts of different signs that you see, and they can be good.
Beep, beep.
Yeah, they're more bad than anything. And you kind of want to duck, or he's just like, okay, and run away. But that's one thing that I felt warm and felt comfortable. It felt very nice to have that kind of gesture be brought on from someone else to you without even knowing who you are. Felt
good. Neighbors talk to you, things like that. It's not that so independent thing. And depending where in Texas you go, you might see shotguns in the back window of a pickup. And, you don't really see that really, do you, Nelson, in California and, some of the main cities that are moving here? I mean, probably in the country, in some areas of California, you see that.
We don't see many guns, and if they are, they're probably illegal. And just get out of here. You want to leave. And if you do leave, come to Texas, specifically Austin.
Right? Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's scary.
But you are going to find, we have to talk about it, y'all. Here I am using the y'all. You're going to see those Trump supporters, those Trump yard signs, those Trump flags, because Texas overall is a red state. And we have glimmers of blue that kind of pop in there. But you're going to see a rather conservative state that they don't mind you coming. They just don't want you to change it. And, especially the politics and different things, there's a reason that Texas is as attractive as it is. And they're like, you can come, but leave some of that stuff out because, we don't really want a whole lot of that coming in. What do y'all think about that? Some people have had a hard time moving here. Some people have just made the transition easy.
Being from California, it was a lot easier to be welcomed into California, than it would be, in my opinion, if I were to come from Texas going to California. It'd be a little bit different. You keep your stuff to yourself. There's things you talk about, things you don't talk about, but you can kind of just feel like I said earlier, a tip from the hat from a gentleman without knowing who I am, speaks volume in itself. But California would be something else. You'd have you're driving too slow in the wrong lane. Let's get out of here. It's honking the horn.
You know it.
Yeah, and you see it, but to each their own, right? That's what makes Texas so beautiful and so awesome. Just everyone's welcome here. It don't matter, right?
Would you say Austin is a rather accepting, comfortable city to live in?
Carrie, how do you feel about that?
I like to think that it is. And I've always felt accepted and comfortable here in Austin. Of course, I'm from Austin, so I like to hope that we're extending the same courtesy to everyone that comes here from other places.
Because you are from here, and you of all people have every right to not want Californians to move in here. But seeing that is your answer, that tells a lot. I mean, it speaks volume in itself. Like I said, just that you're welcoming to these people, whether it doesn't matter where you come from. You can come from New York, California, wherever, right? Texas in general is so big that
there's so much space here.
Yeah, I feel like everyone could just accommodate themselves here in Texas. It's just quite large.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The drive just alone from California, where I lived, a day got me all the way to, the tip of Texas, which was in El Paso, and then a day's drive from El Paso to Austin. And I'm just in the middle of Texas.
True.
It is quite large in itself. I'm passing 4 or 5 states, and here I'm still in the same one.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So that brings us right into economy and transportation. What's it like in Texas? What can they expect, Carrie?
So, I feel like we have less of a public transportation infrastructure than some other parts of the country do, especially if you compare us to California. So, if you're coming here from somewhere else, know that you're probably going to want to have a car. And you should probably budget for all the costs that are associated with a car. Now, our gas is a little bit cheaper here on average than California. It's actually a lot cheaper on average than California.
Oh, definitely.
Last time I checked, the California average was $4.68 and the Texas average was $3.15.
Yeah. There's some parts in Texas where it can get to super low as well. I mean,
that's true.
Houston has where the oil comes in, the crude oil comes into Houston, and it's refined there to become gas for us. And so we get it a lot cheaper, whereas in other states, it has to travel some sort of distance, which is time and money. And that is why you pay higher gas prices than what we pay here in Texas.
Yeah. Do you think the lack of public transportation is going to keep some people from coming here?
It could, or it could not. I mean, if I'm selling my home somewhere where I can get way more than what I would budget for here, I'd have enough to buy myself a vehicle, whether it's electric, gas, whatever, and I'd be able to get around. Here in Austin, at least, I love the biking lanes and what they've done for biking in general. So that is one of the things I liked doing when I was a little bit younger, was to take the bike out and ride around and explore the city. And there's so much country land too. It's so beautiful to do those kind of rides as well.
Right. They've got some stuff that they are working on to expand some of the even light rail and other plans. We have a bus system as well, but we've got some light rail that are in the city of Austin and going out to Cedar Park and Leander and those areas. But they do have a plan to try and expand some of that. And we are getting more and more, and it can be kind of gridlocky in During certain times.
It was not meant to be built for future proof as what the amount of people that are here now, but we're making do with what we've got, and we're trying to make it better. But all over Texas, there's also being better transportation. I know they're trying to commute a fast rail, right, or a speed
from
train.
Dallas to San Antonio.
Yeah,
Houston, San Antonio, wherever. I think it's Houston, and it's stopping in College Station, I want to say. And they're making their way up, and it's a 45-minute ride, where that is just unbelievable. So you have your choices. If you would like to live in Houston and work in Dallas, you can commute 45 minutes, not have to worry about driving, road rage, any of that. Get your work done while you're there and go back home.
Yeah, because they were talking about it's going to have Wi-Fi too, didn't they?
Yeah, speed rail.
I hope that's high-speed internet.
I see what you did there, Robbie.
Hey, you got to take them when you can. But if you're thinking about moving here, and we've already identified, there's some culture shock stuff they're going to have to deal with. The weather's going to be crap compared to some of those beautiful California days, but then it's going to be great here. If you want some variety, it could be snowing in the morning and hot in the afternoon. But what can someone moving from California, maybe they're in a very small footprint of a home, very small yard, we don't have all the, wonderful, huge parks that they have in all the city areas, but what can a Californian expect in all sincerity for home prices? Bang for their buck.
So you can definitely get a little bit more bang for your buck in Texas than you can in California. If we want to look at median home prices, the Texas median was about $310,000. This is in the last quarter of 2021, whereas the California median was about $834,000.
Wow,
it's a huge,
huge difference.
Savings or cash in your pocket. Man, I can go buy myself a Tesla if I wanted to with that extra.
Right? Yeah, you can buy a Tesla to drive all over the state.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable. I mean, now that explains a lot. While I be driving around Austin, I've seen so many new Bentleys driving around that I have never seen before in my life.
I agree.
And I'm in shock because I've never seen a Bentley in close with the chauffeur in the front driving someone in the back. Who knows what that person does, but they're here.
Yeah.
Sign me up, hook me up, whatever it takes.
Yeah, even if you do come to Austin, there's still a significant amount of a difference. I mean, the median here in Austin was 476,000, so that still is, quite a bit difference. It's almost half, right?
But that includes what? Leander, Cedar Park, all of our area. Mm-hmm. And then what if they want to live? What if we want to live right down, in Austin city limits? Where's the number about for that?
That one's 555,000 is the median in the actual Austin city limits.
So it's a little bit higher to be in Austin, but you could be on the outskirts.
Yeah.
It's still, I mean, a commute from Round Rock to downtown Austin is only a 30-minute drive. It's not that big of a deal. In comparison to driving that in California, that is an 1.5 to 2 hour drive to get into the city, same distance, just because of the traffic and the infrastructure that is there. Our infrastructure here is, don't get me started with that, it's awful. But you can still make it a lot faster than if you were to drive from, the valley in California to Los Angeles. That's going to take you an hour to an hour and a half or more just to do that same distance drive. And to me, being in Round Rock rather than Austin is just so comfortable. I mean, everything here is just so local. I can get to Leander, I can get to Liberty Hills, I can go to Austin, San Antonio, right? If it's still an hour's drive and that's almost 80 miles away, I can go north, right? Even being outside of the city, I find it to be very comfortable.
Yeah, most definitely. I moved from south to north and Northwest Hills area, and it just kind of opened up with all the roads and stuff, and I still go to San Antonio and have my car serviced.
Yeah,
it's just a hop, skip, and a jump, and maybe about an hour and a half, but still very beneficial.
How is San Antonio doing down there?
If somebody was moving, let's say, from maybe the Bay Area, what do you think their median home price is there versus here? Are they going to get a little bit more bang for their buck, or are we talking not that much?
I think Carrie said it earlier, right? You said
they're going to be. So Bay Area, 1.3 million is the median there.
Yeah, that is
high. Coming from the Bay Area, you could buy one house here to live in and another house as an investment.
Yeah,
right. That's what you get from your Bay Area house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that second home and short-term rental market is starting to really catch up with the primary and maybe even outpace it. What about LA? What's the median in LA? Do you know that, Carrie?
900.
LA, 949,000 in LA.
Wow. Okay, so they still got us beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Everyone wants to move. They all over the world. People know California, right? Texas is making its way there.
Well, we have Dallas.
That's true.
We do.
Dun, 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 yeah. JR and Bobby and the Ewings. that put us on the map. We don't all just ride around on horses. We do have those Bentleys and Subarus and.
I mean.
I did see someone riding a horse down South Congress Avenue several days ago.
Yeah, and it feels natural, right? You did.
Yeah, it was no big deal.
So
I noticed it, but
Yeah, and it's awesome. You get to see him. Just don't walk on the right side of that horse.
Right, exactly.
One thing you'll learn in Texas is that real quick. Do not touch that horse. Do not go behind it. always go on the left side of the horse, not your left, their left.
Their left.
The horse is left.
Yeah,
That's
something's
right.
gonna happen. It'll whack.
Talk about a blind spot.
Exactly. I mean, Elon Musk did say it, I believe, last year. He said Texas in general, Austin, is going to be known as the boom town for the next 50 years. And that's how he feels. And a certain person such as him, who's so established and educated, intelligent, all of that, to be able to say that, I mean, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't move Tesla to Austin if he didn't believe so himself. And that speaks a lot, right?
It does.
And we have Samsung that is, going with another plant in Taylor. We had 2 other new tech companies. And who else do we have here? We're kind of getting into that, job world. Yeah. But who are our big, employers that, if somebody hasn't researched from California, what are some of them that they can find here?
And we've got so many. Just right here in Austin. I'm sorry?
Other than Uncommon,
Right. We've got Amazon, Google, Facebook, all have offices here in Austin. Like you mentioned, Samsung, a bunch of companies along the tech corridor. So you've got like Apple, GM, I think has offices along the tech corridor. And then just in Texas in general, you've got Oracle, HP, and Charles Schwab have all recently moved their headquarters to Texas from California.
Yeah, there's a little bit of every tech company in Austin. I mean, you've got Dropbox, Indeed, I believe.
Right.
There's
Rackspace.
Yeah, you can just walk through the domain here in Austin and you can find all these sorts of tech companies over there.
But we also have Dell, who started here. And have been here forever. So we have to, tip our hat to, Michael Dell and the Dell company for being here from day one and on, and we're like, are we days away from Apple opening or their main campus fully, or, in that?
It's almost done. It's almost done. But no, in Austin, you're always going to run into some sort of permitting problems here just because they want to make sure everything is done correctly and safely for anyone. So I remember they wanted to have it finished by the end of last year of 2021, but through the pandemic, it might have pushed them back a little bit. So we're just waiting and hopefully it'll be done soon because that's a big incentive to move here. I mean, think about what Facebook or the UFO Apple in Corporate Torino did to the housing over there, right? People want to be around these big companies where it's going to increase the value of my home just because of it being so near to this facility. Thing about Austin coming off Palmer, your home in that area can over time increase, but we don't know. It's not certain, right? But looking at these trends over time, and you can look at those trends in California, what they did over there, and you can put one and one together.
Yeah. I mean, we've got one of the big short-term rental companies that are over there, by the domain, and a bunch of different, tech and companies that have been here for a while, and even ones that are moving in. So, but how much? I mean, am I going to be able to go to the Louis Vuitton store as much living in Texas as I might be in California, or I'm going to be able to go more? I mean, what are our job wages in comparison? Let's duke it out here. Who's going to get paid more? Where?
So California wages on average are going to be a little bit higher. So we're talking about average in California about $68,000 a year, whereas average in Texas is going to be about $57,000 a year.
Ouch. Okay. But you think that has something to do with what? Maybe cost of living? Do you think what?
Definitely. Yeah, because I think cost of living overall, at least cost of, buying groceries, cost of buying gas, cost of buying your housing is going to be higher in California.
Yeah. So where are we? Are we going to be dealing with more unemployment or less unemployment if we, somebody moves from California here? Are we going to find a job faster, or where are we racking up right there as percentage points?
So Texas has a lot of jobs, and Texas has a little bit of a lower unemployment rate than California. This is at the very end of 2021. Texas was at 5%. California's unemployment rate was at about 6.5%.
Yeah, there's a lot of incentives too here for startup businesses, and most of those startups are self-employed, and there are, I mean, the reason for that unemployment rate can be so low is just that we incentivize work, whether it is to work as a W-2, as self-employed. I mean, people look at these big tech companies like we just previously discussed. Why are they coming here? What are the incentives for them to come here? So what are the incentives I should have to work here as well? I would assume that Apple would be, you know, paying for my commute to move from California to Texas, right? And so there alone is dropping some of the, it's adding job here in Texas. I have to hire someone to be able to do that for me.
So we don't, Nelson, what you're saying is we don't want them just moving their headquarters here just for their, you know, for their address and for the taxation benefits and stuff. We need their workforce and everything coming here. And these companies are doing that.
Yep. Just alone, I believe Apple is planning to hire 10,000 employees in their time that they'll be here, 5,000 within the first year. So that is that's a large number just in 1 year.
Don't have to buy any more tech. Maybe I'm.
Hopefully they're made here in Austin, because that's the whole reason of what they wanted to come. But we never know. They might change that or still continue to get them elsewhere. But I prefer that it would have a stamp that says made in Austin, Texas. That would be pretty awesome.
That would be cool.
You know, to have something that every household in the U.S. probably has, or I'm sure I don't know if this is a real stat or not, but I'm safe to say every household probably has one Apple item. I mean, let's be real here. Whether it's old or new, they have one. And I can count just 7 in being here in my room. So yeah, I mean, how cool would it be to have those 7 items made in Austin, Texas? That'd be legit.
Yeah, instead of just saying made in the USA, it just says made in Austin.
Made in Austin. Yeah.
It would be kind of cool.
I would love to be born in Austin, because I wish I could have that stamp, Carrie. I'm kind of jealous. You know, like my brother once said, "Is everyone made in China?" We were little. Funny story.
Oh no, that's so funny. Oh wow, yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, okay, so you weren't a Texan by birth, Nelson.
No,
but you got here just as quick as you could. So we take you in.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I love to be known as a Californian. My roots will always be there, but it's hard to say. I mean, Texas is now having my heart. I even speak like it. I just said my heart. Come on. And my eyes are not being pronounced right. They're being ma. It's just, Texas has grown on me in such those, 17 years that I have. It's so great to be here and to be part of what's going on. I mean, just driving around Austin, I remember counting 6 to 7 skyscrapers when I first moved here. And now you can't even count them with both hands anymore. Just how fast those buildings have gone up, and they'll continue to go up because there's no space. The only place you can go is just straight up. So,
yeah, we were talking about, what was it? The Frost Building was the tallest building for a long time.
And for a long time it was, yeah.
I was driving down Mopac the other night going, and there's the Frost Building, and it's just, you can't even really see it because of everything else that's just over toppled it. It's just like crazy that it's just so tall. So
yeah, do y'all know what the unofficial bird of the city of Austin is?
The crackle?
It's the building crane.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
The building crane. I like that. That's a good one. Did you get that on a popsicle stick?
I don't remember where I heard that.
That's funny. Yeah. That's what we need to do. We need to do a crane check and find out how many cranes are down there.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool information, because I mean, there were tons at one point.
Yeah. It's hard to count them, especially during that downtown traffic. You got to be careful because there's going to be some people who try to cut you off, like you said, and you got to be alert of all of that. But I remember counting at one point, this was a few months ago, I think I counted 13 cranes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And that number is probably, I'm assuming that's low because there's some buildings that are covering the other side that I couldn't see.
Yeah, that's true.
There's just, I think 4 of them alone were near UT. So It's a lot of
because they've got that medical school that's going in.
Yep.
We have a bunch of housing and office buildings going in, and it's just growing leaps and bounds. I'm probably out of date, even having driven down there recently.
Yeah, it's hard to want to go from up here down there, even though it's just such a short distance. It's just the traffic because of the infrastructure that can be a little bit could deter you away from doing a night out downtown because of that. But Robbie, you have been a broker and practicing real estate for a while. As an agent, what are two things in comparison, or I guess you can say that would be different practical differences in real estate between California and Texas?
Oh my gosh, y'all are the practitioners. Y'all are the ones busting it out here. The transaction is going to have some huge differences. When you kind of come into the main thought process of, you watch those $1 Million real estate shows or any of those real estate shows that talk about real estate in California, a lot of them are based there. They are a escrow state, which means they go into escrow. Of course, their contract is completely different than ours in their terminology and everything. And we have a title company where they have an escrow agent, but it's a title company that does the same thing. But the big thing with Texas being a title state versus California being an escrow state is their contract has basically that little time that they can go in and do their due diligence period. And a lot of states have that. But Texas, we do things different. Of course, you've got to have something to expect. In Texas, the average home buyer is going to have to purchase an unrestricted right to terminate the contract. And that will be something they're going to have to pay, maybe $100 a day. And it may be higher. Some of them I'm seeing 2 days for $1,000. And some are, $100 a day. Yeah. And that gives them the right to cancel that contract for any other reason. But they need to do everything they need to do during that option period, right? To get everything done. What are some of the things, Nelson and Carrie, that they have to do during the option period?
There's a lot that needs to go done. I mean,
home inspection. It's a big one.
That's the big one, to be able to find out if you can even live in it, or what updates or upgrades or renovation need to be done before signing and committing it to, for sure. That's
negotiations.
Yeah, there's a myriad of things that can happen. And I personally, if I were to want to buy a house and live in it, I would definitely want to get it inspected and have that done to be able to negotiate those terms, whether they're going to be repaired or not, because that's important.
Yeah. And today it's so competitive with all the multiple offers. People are giving up that and then just taking the chance because, there's so few houses available. And, we don't really get into talking about why, but, we've talked a little bit that, we've got a lot of people going and purchasing second homes.
Yeah.
We've got them that are doing the short-term rentals, and they are wanting to buy those others. So I guess we probably have enough housing for every Austinite to have the house. But sometimes some of those people, maybe Nelson over there, is hogging 5 or 6 houses, building the real estate empire and stuff. And, becomes a whole lot of issues on rentals. And, what was it? Was it Zillow that lost their ass on, investing in real estate and turned around and dumped them all into a company that's just going to make them rentals? So we're putting more people in rentals instead of selling homes.
And that's just something that people look forward to. It's better to rent rather than to own. But I don't think it's better to rent or own. You're not going to get that money back that you are just paying someone else that's going to get their money back, right? I prefer to own my actual piece of land and home on it where it can generate equity over time. So it's sad that Zillow actually had that happen, and now they're making all these rentals and doing rentals, but there's still opportunities. There's still a lot of homes in Austin and surrounding cities where we can find those homes. You just need to find yourself I like saying it, but one of those knowledgeable agents, like especially here, the uncommon agents. We're a team, and we're managed by a great broker, Robbie. And he's there to guide us every step of the way, but we know our shit. So if you need it, You just got to ask us and be able to find what you're looking for.
You do know your shit. That's a great way to put it. From doing the marketing to the hardest thing that most agents are challenged with is coming up with that CMA. I mean, y'all are looking at two experts right there. Now, Nelson took it to another level, even faster than I could teach him. Like, hello, hold on, stop. You want to do what? Yeah, and Carrie grasped it just super quick. And I'm telling you, agents that have been in the business 20 and 30 years that are still guessing, they've got it down to a science.
Their best way of doing it is just pull in the quick CMA, and that is not how you find out what your value or what you want to pay for your home is, because that to me is just an algorithm from an Excel spreadsheet. I should be giving you a more thorough one, detailed with adjustments and things like that, to be able to give you that knowledge before you put in an offer.
Nelson, how dare you tell people that you're just not going to give them the Zestimate and say, here's your home value?
Zestimate, don't get me started on those things. That is just, oh man, they don't have no nose, they don't have an eye, they don't have an ear or mouth, and they cannot feel. They cannot tell you what's going around just in the general area. I mean, you can pull up a zip code if you want on Zillow and find out what the Zestimate is, but they're not going to tell you that there is a quarry around the corner or a garbage facility, nearby that stinks. Would you want to live somewhere, right? Find yourself an agent that is knowledgeable and geographical competent with what they're selling and buying, because that is a huge thing, especially if you're coming from California. You don't want to be moving into a place where it's going to smell like shit.
Absolutely. But, the big thing is that you don't have that history from the Zillow. You have it with an agent. And you're very right. You've got to have somebody who can know exactly what they need to tell you and where to find the research to get more information, even on the neighborhood and the house that you're buying. Was it the site of the first triple murder, or has it been a perfect house? And, there's nothing crazy going on, because some of that stuff that doesn't come from an algorithm.
Nope.
And it affects the value.
Yeah, definitely.
Nobody wants to live in a home that's been a triple murder in, but come on.
I don't.
You got to find out from your realtor, right?
Exactly.
How do I research this? Where do I find it? Carrie, is this a good neighborhood? Depends on what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. Well, the answers, and we're going to give you them detailed answers, not just the adequate answers, right? We're going to give you the ones that have more information that you need, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Dreams are made and dreams are crushed with the real estate transaction.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, anything else we want to tell them about moving to Texas?
Just call us if you're coming here, because we can help you out.
That's right. Yeah, no doubt. We gotta go with that. But if not, we'll see you next week. We are live every Monday, except for we probably will lose Nelson in the next couple of Mondays at some point for some reason. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's gonna, keep going with us or not, but he's got a beautiful coming up blushing bride to marry, and hopefully we'll get him here, but he doesn't take too much time off. Is that Mariah in there with you?
She's hiding.
She's hiding.
She is hiding. Hi, Mariah. Yeah, she always is. One day I will get her out here.
One day we're going to get her on here. Yeah, because, and by the way, everybody's going to need a cake to celebrate their new home. How do they get a hold of Mariah to get a cake from her wonderful bakery?
It is a simple thing. It's going to www.RENE, as in RAYNE, desserts.com. Contact her there. You can view her stuff. Feel free to message her through email or call her. Her phone number's on there. You'll be able to get in contact with her and order what you'd like.
That's RENEDesserts.com, RAYNE, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Mariah, we love those sweets. So gotta keep them coming. So, Carrie, any last words?
Texas is awesome. Come on down, y'all.
It is awesome.
Come on down.
I am a living testament of that. I mean, being from California and moving here, has been quite a trip. And
I almost forgot one huge thing. Allergies. Get your allergy pills. A lot of people have trouble with the Texas allergies.
Yeah, good point.
That should have been a whole section.
Yes. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good day.
We'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.